Leos, welcome back to another episode of Tarot Talk with me, your host Tawanantoinette. Today we're going to do your May reading. It can resonate for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. But check your rising first, like I always tell you guys. Before we begin, just a few announcements. The first one is that this is going to be a collective reading, so it will not resonate with everyone. Bear that in mind. It's not a personal reading. It may not relate to your story 100% of the time every single month. So if it doesn't fit, don't force it. Discard what doesn't fit and listen to what makes sense for you. Now, moving on to the next announcements. Why am I losing my train of thought so easily? Next thing I'd like to say to you guys is thank you for those of you who have booked a personal reading with me. I really appreciate it. And lastly, remember to like this video, comment, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're listening to the podcast, remember to drop a rating and share with a friend who you think this may help. Now, with that said, let's get started. Leos in May. Okay, this is the past energy, and it's coming up as community. Okay, some of you literally had a change in community. It's a change in an environment. It could be an actual living community. This could be your work community. Community extends to just a group of people who you collaborate with or commune with on a regular basis. So some of you may have had some kind of relocation in the past. Others of you may have changed a job in the past. Some of you may have gotten into new friend groups. It's just a change happened in your past as it relates to some kind of community you were a part of. Now, beneath that, in the tarot, we have the Eight of Swords clarified by the Eight of Wands. Okay, so why did you have fears? It feels like you had a lot of fears around this change. It was something that you needed to strategize and plan for. Maybe something that you kind of kept to yourself. You kept the planning phases to yourself. You kept you kept your moves to yourself, or probably on a need-to-know basis. But you made the change. You probably were scared through whatever kind of change you were initiating in your life. But I see you conquered whatever fear you were having, and you did it, and you probably did it in a really quick way. Because the Eight of Wands talks about fast action. I feel like you made a very quick change in some kind of physical community in the past. It feels like something that you had, I heard roots. Maybe you moved from somewhere that you had roots. It feels like when the Ten of Pentacles comes out, it talks about a firm foundation, something, it talks about permanency. And then it's clarified by the Empress, which talks about your level of comfort, because the Empress is comfortable. She is the queen of all queens. She gets anything that she wants. So it could have felt like in this situation that you moved away from, this community, it may have been somewhere that you may have put down some kind of roots, or you thought it was permanent, or you just had some kind of foundation in this place, and you were probably deeply comfortable there. Maybe some of you guys were in a comfort zone there. But you took action and you moved. Some of you guys didn't want to. You didn't want to move on from where you're moving on from, but I see that you were in your Queen of Wands energy. You put on your big girl, big boy pants, and you did it anyway. Now, in the middle of the reading, we have By the Book, which talks about something. To me, it talks about the proper way to do something. The traditional way to do something. And it's almost like Spirit is saying, let go of the old way. Like, screw the tradition. What do you want to do? You know, like, if something could be ideal to you, how would you create that thing to be? Beneath that, we have the King of Wands, which is you. And then we have the Hanged Man, and that's clarified by the Knight of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. And then we have the Two of Cups and the Hierophant. So this is talking about some kind of union that you are in. This could be a relationship, or it could be a marriage, or it could be a friendship. I'm not really getting friendship though. I feel like this is a relationship for a lot of you. In May, I see you thinking about an investment that you've made. Whether this is an investment in this marriage, in this business partnership, in this friendship, you have to let me know how this is resonating in your personal stories, in your personal lives. But there's some kind of partnership here. And I feel like it's almost like there are these rules and these societal concepts that you're tapping into in May that I feel like Spirit is like, it's like, how do I explain this? You're looking at a relationship or a partnership from a different perspective. You're saying, okay, time out. Let me look at this from a different perspective. But it's almost, and in that looking at it from a different perspective, you're like, do I wanna do this? Knight of Cups it up. The Knight of Cups is the one that romanticizes a specific situation. They're the one leading from their heart space. But sometimes this can be just romanticizing a situation. And you're looking at it, maybe you guys have an obstacle between you guys. Maybe you guys are taking a time out. But it feels like you're carefully evaluating this partnership and you're wondering, do I pour in more? Do I pursue this? Do I offer my cup? But I feel like there's some form of societal expectations that you are subscribing to on how a relationship should progress. And so you're being invited to let go of either the concepts and the expectations that are not even really yours. They're the society's, the Hierophant. They're your family's expectations, what your friends are doing, what you've seen done in the movies, what you've been socialized to do in a particular circumstance. Those are the expectations that you're evaluating. And Spirit is asking you to let go of this by the book approach. Let go of this, oh, this is how it's supposed to be kind of approach. Because that's not serving you. I feel like you're supposed to be looking at something from a higher perspective, not as, oh, this is what's supposed to happen, but what do you actually want to happen? Some of you guys, you're being urged to let go of the relationship entirely. Others of you, you're being asked to let go of the ways that you tried to direct a union or a relationship or a partnership in a very traditional sense. Maybe it's not supposed to be that kind of traditional thing. Maybe it's not what's in the best interest of you too. Maybe that's not even what you want. Maybe that's not what the person wants. But I feel like it's almost like you're looking and you're like, I've invested so much, and do I want to continue to pour into this? This is what I feel like I'm supposed to do. Since we've already invested so much time, maybe this is supposed to get to the level of, for example, marriage. This is just an example. I've been seeing somebody for such a long time and I've invested so much time, money, attention. Maybe this is what's supposed to happen next. Maybe we're supposed to get married next. Maybe we're supposed to, that kind of thing. And Spirit is like, no, who said so? Who said that? Who said that? Who told you that? What do you actually want? What do you actually want? And that will be different for each of you. Some of you guys, maybe you don't want this relationship at all in its entirety. Maybe you don't even want this person. It's just something that you thought you're just doing something by the book this whole time. Others of you, maybe this approach with this person isn't what you want to take. Maybe you guys have to find something that's more individual to the both of you or to you. Now in the end, we have To the Sea, which talks about going with the flow. And when I pulled this card, I heard moving on. you're being asked to move on from something or surrender to the flow of how something is going with love and kindness, without malice. Malice for the person, malice to your guides. Just letting something go. Just going with the flow of the natural occurrence of whatever is happening. The Seven of Cups, clarified by the Four of Pentacles, is giving me wishful thinking. It's giving a lot of wishful thinking to me. But then the Temperance is here twice, which means balance, patience. Something is being balanced out. Something is moving from like a it talks about the Temperance energy is almost like, don't be too up in your head. You have to keep yourself grounded as well. So something is balancing out in a particular relationship dynamic. Maybe if you guys are having, have been having a conflict, I see that balancing out. I just see a lot of balance being brought into a dynamic between two people. And that balance is going to manifest in different ways for a lot of you. Maybe you end up moving on from this person. Maybe this person ends up moving on from you. Maybe you guys end up resolving your conflict because you're like, you know what? We've been putting a lot of pressure on ourselves, or I've been putting a lot of pressure on you, or you've been putting a lot of pressure on me to go by this traditional kind of thing, and we're not traditional, or I'm not traditional, or you're not traditional. And in the recognition of that, that's what brings balance to a situation. But I see you guys moving on from something, and you're being asked to move on from it and to surrender without any kind of malice. Alright, so let's get some advice. I don't know why I always do that. I always continue to evaluate the reading even when I say I'm going to stop. That's why there's this awkward silence, because I'm like, do I want to go in more? And I'm like, no, let's just leave it there. What's the advice for Leos in the month of May? What's the advice for Leos in May? What's the advice for Leos in May? No, that just jumped out, so I'm not really. Alright, what's the advice for Leos in May, please? Here we go. The crumbling. What are you clinging on to? Okay, so something is definitely breaking down, breaking apart, falling apart. And you may be clinging to some kind of old version, some kind of old expectations that maybe you didn't even create. Something is definitely crumbling. Okay, let's dive into this card. There's a shift happening right now where anything inauthentic can no longer survive. Relationships, jobs, social structures, anything built on shaky ground is destined to tumble down. It's happening to bring you back home to who you truly are, both individually and to society as a whole. So you can live a life that is in alignment with who you truly are. And when you're in the thick of it, it can feel like a personal attack from the universe. Have faith, because the difficult times will be your defining moments. You will be reborn in the fire. You are being called to surrender, to stop trying to hold it all together, to loosen your grip, to let the crumbling occur. It may be difficult at first. In the end, the sooner you let go, the sooner the rebirthing will occur. What are you trying to hold together? What are you doing your best to avoid? How are you trying to pretend everything is okay? You have what it takes to allow what is falling away to tumble and fall. Once the tower has crumbled, you will be able to rebuild your home on solid ground with mighty foundations and a view that is so magnificent that it will take your breath away each new morn. Kali, the goddess of destruction, and the Black Madonna are with you now. Lay it all on their altar. They can hold it all. What are you clinging to for fear of nothing coming to take its place? Wow, that's very, very loaded. All right, Leos, I really hope this reading was helpful. Remember, if you'd like to go deeper, my booking link is in the bio. And I also created a Instagram page for tarot. It's called Tarot by Tawana. If you're not able to tap into the podcast or listen on YouTube, these are really quick messages and quick Tarotscope guidance that you can just read and move on really quickly. So follow me on Instagram at Tarot by Tawana. And with that said, I'll see you guys. Bye.